how do I prove coercive control? I asked the GAL, what has to happen to my daughter before you'll take my concern seriously? And she told me that she'd seen children who had feces in their room and the court did nothing. So my name is Billy Tarasio. I'm an Arizona family law attorney. And on my page, we talk about family law issues. If that's interesting, follow me. So how do I prove coercive control? Let's talk about that question. You could prove it. You could successfully prove it, and it likely won't make a difference because most judges either don't believe it's a problem or are not educated, and our laws do not provide that coercive control in and of itself is grounds for a parent to lose parenting time. So this coercive control is the conclusion, like parental alienation, like narcissism. So instead of trying to prove coercive control, you need to prove that the specific behavior engaged in by the other parent is having specifically detrimental effects to your specific child. And the negative effects have to be bad enough to outweigh any positives that come from having a relationship with your parent, if that's the way you go. Okay, so you have two options in this type of situation, or really you need to do both at once. Number one, you might want to reduce that parent's parenting time. That's very hard to do. Number two, you want to mitigate the damage, and that I think we have a lot more control over than we think we do. Okay, so to mitigate the damage, asking for things like court-ordered therapy for everybody, family therapy, requiring parents to work with different parenting coaches, asking for reunification therapy, anything you can do to intervene on behalf of your child to mitigate the parent's bad behavior, because we all behave better when someone's watching us. So you want to get an order that addresses some of your specific concerns. So for instance, if you know that the other parent engages in tactics that you consider to be, not okay, you would want to put in your parenting plan that those tactics could not be used. So for instance, if your other parent had your children skip meals as punishment, you would tell the court, and you would ask the court to put that into a court order. You would also want to have regular contact with your child. You would want your child to know the rules. Part of the reason that children don't report abuse is they don't know what abuse is. They don't know when mom or dad has crossed the line. When is mom or dad parenting and punishing and doling out consequences versus engaged in abusive behavior? So you can educate your child, you can get eyes on your child, you can get a court order that alerts the court that there is something going on, that we need to be careful, we need to watch this. And so mitigating is something that every single person should do. And usually if you are really actively engaged in those mitigation efforts, and they don't work, and you have other people's eyes on your child, then and only then do you get to a place where professionals are recommending and saying that contact with this parent is worse. The loss of contact with this parent would be better than allowing this parent to have continued contact because of their behavior. That's what you need the court to decide. Not that coercive control is happening, but that the impact of this parent's parenting on this particular child is not in their best interest. So using the lens of the court will help you make good tactical decisions in family court.